Welcome into another hour here on CBS Sports HQ. Jeremy St. Louis, happy to have you along. We're talking Lakers to get things rolling with NBA writer Bill Reiter and our NBA champion, the coach Avery Johnson. Guys, let's start at the top with the Russell Westbrook news, opting in for the final year of his $206 million deal. It's a $47 million opt-in. Coach, this was not unexpected.
No, there's no surprise. When you look at players opting into a contract, especially for one more year, that's primarily because there's no market for them don't opt in and become an unrestricted free agent. So Russell Westbrook, the same way Kyrie Irving, just didn't have many options, and this was his best available option. I'm not saying that the Lakers were thrilled that he opted in, but if he would have tried to test the free agency market, I think they would have been okay with that. Darvingham, his new coach, said that he wants to get Westbrook back playing like he was, when he was an MVP. I don't know if he'll ever get back to that level of play, and he wants to get him playing at a high level on defense. That remains to be seen. But this was Russell Westbrook's only option and his best option, so there's no surprise here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Jeremy, you said it. Not a surprise. Very good news for Russell Westbrook because he had access to that $47 million and change player option. He has obviously, at least over the course of the last few seasons, digressed as a player in terms of his impact. And even though it's expected, I can tell you, talking to some Lakers folks earlier today, not happy news for the Los Angeles Lakers. Because as long as there's hope, you can imagine a world where things are exactly as you want them to be. There was never a scenario where Russell Westbrook was not going to opt into this contract into this final year. But I can tell you, and Lakers officials knew that, but it didn't mean deep down, guys, deep in their heart, deep in their basketball soul. They weren't hoping maybe Russell Westbrook had his own change of heart. Go do something else, retire, take less money, move to some other. He decides he likes the winter, go somewhere else. Not an easy day for the Lakers. They knew it was coming, but it solidifies what we already knew was going to be true. Very difficult offseason in terms of free agency for the Lakers now.
Well, and the Lakers, they were hoping to trade him. There was even talk that he could be part of a deal for Kyrie, depending on how that situation went. But, of course, that ended with Kyrie opting in as well. He could still be dealt. So, Bill, what's the best case scenario for a suitor for Westbrook?
Yeah, so if you're the Lakers, and I've talked to some sources around the NBA, there's real skepticism with the best case scenario that I'm going to give to you, but I'll give it to you. And that is the Pacers. That you try to convince the Pacers to send out some of those other players and build around a young team. It would mean that Indiana would basically have to go through a partial rebuild. And because that contract does have value if you decide that you want to rebuild and the Lakers attach, and they don't want to do this, a first-round pick to it or some other assets, right? Some other things come in return. That contract goes off the books next year for whoever has him. So the Pacers, I think, guys, are the only place that I can close my eyes and squint and sort of pretend to see a suitor for Russell Westbrook. And you do that if you're the Pacers on the idea of a rebuild and maybe pretend in public with the media on the idea of we're going to try to get the best out of Westbrook and compete while we go through this process. But honestly, that's the only answer I can give you. And I'm not even sure to the degree to which I 100% believe that's a realistic outcome.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.